My podcast, Taboo Conversations, I was trying to do something different. When I first started that podcast, I was talking about relationships and sex and all that type of stuff on there. And it was a similar thing that I was already talking about on Facebook and on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere else as well. So I decided to, of course, take that podcast and turn it into something different. My guy had ordered several books recently. One of them was called The msha.ke System. And that book was written back in the early 1900s, like 1914 or 16, one of those years. And so I wanted to do something different. I was reading that book and I'm sitting up here like, okay, I could be reading this book because it is a public domain book. And I'm like, okay, I could be reading this book on my podcast to let everybody else know what information is within this book. Because it's, of course, talking about the mindset, how our thoughts control our mind, the unconscious, the subconscious, and all that type of thing. The same things you hear other famous life coaches and business coaches and all these folks talk about today, and speakers and that kind of thing. They're talking about the similar thing that's in this book and the other books I've read as well. And like I said, I definitely want to make sure that I put this information available to you all. That's why I started reading this book particularly on my podcast. And I actually want to continue to do so. Like I said, this Black girl reads. In the past 2 years, I've read I don't know how many books on business, marketing, sales, launching, and of course, personal development. And I'm going to keep reading those books. All those books I cannot read on the podcast because they're not, because they have copyrights attached to them. But the ones that don't, best believe y'all going to be hearing about these books on the podcast, and make sure that you, of course, are tuning in as well. Like I said, these books that were written, of course, all these 24 lessons in the msha.ke System, the same thing as, I can't think of the other book. Think and Grow Rich, that kind of thing. They both work together, so they, of course, have some of the same kind of tactics and skills and tips and that kind of thing in there as well. Like I said, this Black girl reads, and I want to make sure that other people got the information as well. This information does not have to stay hidden. I know that a lot of folks don't read nowadays. They're all just want to listen to the audios and that kind of thing. So I was making sure that I, of course, put that in audio form for y'all to, of course, check out. I know when I was growing up, they used to say if you want to had a secret from somebody, put it into a book, because they know a lot of folks do not read. I think it's about almost 80-90% of the U.S. population of folks do not even read a book a year. And like I said, I've read about 10 or 15 books in the past 2 years, trying to make sure that I increase my skills. And of course, me being a life coach, a social worker, a baker, a cook, and all these kind of things, all these kind of creative things, I want to make sure that you all know that, of course, I'm working on myself as well. The same books that I'm reading to y'all, I've either already read or just not reading them at that point. So I just want to make sure that y'all know that I'm doing the work the same thing that I'm telling you all. And like I said, I hope that you all can come join me. The podcast Taboo Conversations is over on Spotify /Anchor. The link is in the bio. Taboo Conversations, y'all. Check it out.